Okay. Well, Gretchen, tell us about the start of the docents and, 50 years ago, before it got going, whatever you want to reminisce about.
That's right. I should say I'm glad to see everybody today. I can't see you, but I couldn't if I were there anyway, so it doesn't matter. We had an interesting start for the docents. I came in one day and my boss was worried. He said, we have a bunch of women coming in here and they're volunteers from the Valley Volunteers, and they're interested in helping at the museum. And he said they started up in the history department, who sent them down here. And he said, I don't want to bother with a bunch of women volunteers. And so I said, well, Russ, if we don't bother with them, they're going to get in our way, because this was started by the wife of one of our board members for the museum. And I said, they're welcome to come down to my office if you'd like, because my office is actually a small classroom, and we can meet there, and I can keep an eye on them so we can guide them into the areas where they can be used. Otherwise, they'll be setting up all kinds of programs that will be falling over for the next few years. So he said, well, Gretchen, they're hard to work with. And I said, I think I can manage it. I'm not used to women, but we'll try it out. So they came down. The first problem I had was they wanted coffee in the morning. Well, I don't drink coffee, so I had to make coffee every morning. They came down, which was once a week, and I don't know if it was any good or not. It was a number of years later that somebody told me a better brand of coffee to make, so I have a feeling they must have suffered through my coffee. And when they came in, they had a chairman, and the chairman was to start the meeting and make a few announcements and then hand it to me. And I had decided that this group needed to know something about a museum first, and that's where we were going to start. Well, this woman was interested in food. She was a health food nut, and that's all she wanted to talk about. And this went on and on for over an hour. And for 3 meetings we had that, and I couldn't get her off of the food problem and into the museum. So finally one morning arrived and she wasn't there. She'd gotten sick and they couldn't handle the situation, and the doctor told her she had to give up all of her activities. So that was a blessing as far as I was concerned. And we had one of the other girls was elected to take her place, and she was delightful. And we went on from there and sort of worked together to find out what they needed to know and develop the program so that we had training part of the time, and we had the curators come down and talk to them occasionally, and we had them go up to the behind the scenes and get well acquainted. So that's how it really started. I don't think that story has ever been told because I never told anybody before. But I didn't find these women difficult at all. I enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, it was hard for me to retire because I thought, gee, I'm going to have to give up the docents. So you see how important you became at the museum. The curators became accustomed to you. I became accustomed to you, and the whole museum did. And you've done a wonderful job down through the years. So it's nice to think that 50 years ago, we started out with an unknown group not knowing what they were gonna do, whether they're gonna be a pain in the neck or a help. And they turned out to be very helpful. So, welcome back to the museum.